Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Social Media Trends on the Weekend Show. Stay safe has been the most popular phrase for this year, actually, in 2020, from wearing facial masks to dodging bullets. Now, let's go ahead and start with the stories that made their rounds on social media. On October 1st, 2020, on the 20th, 6:50 p.m., we had members of the Nigerian Armed Force open fire at peaceful demonstrations in part of the End SARS protesters at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos, Nigeria. It is the latest Nigerian Army's display of ruthlessness and disdain for the civilian lives. The Army has been known to open fire and kill harmless citizens. The attack on protesters on Tuesday night is a new chapter for #EndSARS protests, with far-reaching consequences for the future politics of the country. There were videos emerging from the unfortunate night, and they're very difficult to watch. You know, the lights were off at the toll gates, total darkness surrounding our people. The voice of young Nigerians trembled as they sang the national anthem while waving the Nigerian flag and seated on the floor. As you can see, I've shown you on the screen reactions from the Lekki toll gates and the protesters that died on Tuesday night. Now I'm going to move on to the next story with the governor of Lagos State. Now, he was able to clarify the removal of the cameras during the shooting. Now, he had to make a statement, and he tweeted on the day of his press release where he spoke to Arise News, and he tweeted, he was basically just saying that the cameras that were removed on that night were not cameras for people. Rather, they were infrared cameras, and there were sensors meant to capture plate numbers of cars. Now, Nigerians were really wondering, so if that was possible, why now? This is the tweet from the governor, and he says, on the false reports of removal of CCTV, LCC has confirmed that what was removed were infrared car scanners. Evidence from the surveillance cameras which wasn't removed will be used to aid investigations into the incident, and a panel will be constituted to probe the shooting. Now, many Nigerians were wondering why such a statement? Because actually there was also a controversy that the government actually, after imposing a full curfew before the shooting took place, the governor of Lagos State initially denied any loss of life by gunfire at the Lekki toll gate, but later admitted that at least one person was killed. Talk about contradiction. Look at this tweet here from Adetola. Okay, another tweet here from Tini Ted Deyes. If DJ Switch had not gone live, everyone at the Lekki toll gate would be doubting their sanity right now. We saw what we saw. Sheyi Tinubu and Lots AD Media. Now, if you guys were not aware of what happened also on Tuesday night, the billboard lights were also switched off. Now, Sheyi Tinubu, being the CEO of Lots AD Media, came out to make a statement, and he rather said, let's take a look at his statement. He basically said, it's a lot, but I'm going to give you most of what he said. He said, on Tuesday when the curfew was announced, we heeded the governor's warnings and didn't want to put our staff in any danger. Hence, by 3 p.m., our staff had been ordered to leave the site, and the board was switched off based on the governor's curfew request. He also went on to say, we had no idea what was going to happen, and we feel the same anguish, pain, and shock at the events that unfolded, and our hearts and prayers go out to the victims and families of this ungodly act. Now, I'm going to show you some reactions because Nigerians were not with this situation. They were not with this excuse. This is from Big Reality. But during COVID lockdown and 24 hours curfew, your billboard didn't flinch for once. God bless you. Apart from that, other billboards were also on during curfew. This is from Jojo and Grace. She states, curfew does not mean lights out in regards to road or billboard lights. How gullible do you think people are? That is total nonsense. FG Palliatives Warehouse looted. Now, I'm sure you all have seen videos that have made rounds. I will be showing you one today as well. Go ahead and take a look at what happened in Lagos. Gained entrance into the warehouse, they looted some COVID-19 palliatives. A resident who witnessed the event had mentioned. The warehouse is located at Festac, properly called Monkey Village. The looting started as early as 8 a.m. And you can look at all the resources and food items Nigerians were able to get. I mean, it was extremely crazy, and we were very surprised to find out that the government had warehouses with food. People are hungry, and we were expecting to have them shared out. Let's look at some reactions on Twitter from Nigerians. This is from Ifeanyiwa. They are possessing their possession. I know, right? This is from Ebere. Imagine having to steal what rightfully belongs to you. Very crazy. From Zikora Okoye, she says, imagine, why didn't they share the palliatives since? That is a great question. We have another reaction here. Another warehouse filled with, this is from Dami Dame. He said, another warehouse filled with COVID-19 palliatives have been found in Ede, Osun State. Don't dull if you are in Osun State to 1 or 2 years worth of food stuff. Hashtag it is not finished. And that hashtag made its rounds very popular on Twitter after the presidential broadcast. I'll be getting to that story right quickly. This is from Nay Billy. People were begging for 500 naira on this tier, and our leaders kept Indomie inside warehouse. In a few months, everything there would have spoiled. Yes, she is definitely right about that. There's some pictures that went around of Gari that wasn't looking quite consumable anymore. This is from Yusuf. Mind you, this is not just Indomie. The warehouse is for a major Indomie distributor. The warehouse houses a lot of food stuff, rice, Gari, sugar, semo, groundnut oil, pasta, Indomie inclusive, and the likes. You name it. Hashtag #EndSARS. Now, our next story here is Adamu Garba petitions Jack Dorsey. Now, I know you all have been hearing about Adamu Garba. Now, what I want to say about this story in particular is that there are two sides to every story. Am I right? So I'm going to show you a video of what Adamu Garba is saying directly. Take a look at it.
As a company for actively sponsoring and supporting the EndSARS movement by encouraging funding for this movement that have resulted into serious catastrophe for the country. I'm sure most of you are aware of what is happening. Now we have several uprising in the country. Destruction of so many lives and properties is ongoing, and therefore we are calling on Jack Dorsey to come and pay Nigerian government $1 billion in compensation for all the damages that he caused.
Now, Adamu Garba is basically just stating that he feels Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, has made some incitements to the EndSARS protest by creating the well-known emoji that we all know, EndSARS. Let's look at some reactions after Adamu Garba actually made a tweet. I'll read you his tweet now. It says, he says, forget about what Davido is saying on me. He was just expressing his anger. He will come around when he understands the extent of things. As long as you are a Nigerian, you can insult me for all I care. But the fact is, we won't allow any foreigner to meddle in our local affairs. There's a comment down there below. Malam Ridwan, he says, you are very right, Malam Adamu Garba. We must protect the integrity and sovereignty of our country anywhere and anytime. We must not allow miscreants to destroy the only country we have. That is a new side of the school of thought. Everybody usually blaming Adamu Garba, but that's a side that you can understand where he's coming from and why he decides to take Jack Dorsey to court. This is from Tife. He says, there at Jack, please, this man is trying to incite a tribal war. Nigeria is already bloody and we don't want any more casualties. Kindly suspend this man. He's a problem to every Nigerian. Now, if you've been following Twitter trends, Adamu Garba left a video online on Twitter where he spoke Hausa only. So he was speaking to the Northerners directly, and this is what they had to say. This is from Musa V. Mohammed. We Northerners are the ones that suffer the most, but a so-called Adamu Garba is out here telling us to ignore everything and depend the president because he's a Northerner. Malam Adamu, Amumu don't do. Leave us alone, please. Now, reactions from Nigerians after they heard the presidential broadcast, which happened to be on Thursday. This broadcast was by 7 p.m. and surprisingly, it didn't leave Nigerians with so much hope. Rather, it dampened their hope and faith. Let's look at what Mohis said. She said, it is finished. After watching Buhari live, know that no member of the past or present dispensation should be elected. We want a new breed of politicians, those who will put us first. No APC and PDP, and also no members of their families. Plan B is getting a passport. Now, of course, after the presidential broadcast, there were so many hashtags on Twitter going around, such as hashtag passport, hashtag visa, hashtag I must go, hashtag passports. If you don't have Nigerian passport or if you don't have dual citizenship, wahala deal. Look at these tweets right here. Where can I watch the speech, please? And I am done on replies. I think they are repeating it on Cartoon Network. Now, come on, that says a lot about what Nigerians had to say about the presidential broadcast. We have another tweet here at Danny NK. Fairly use Aladdin mats for sale in case you no get passports. I beg, DM me now at the day hot. It is finished. Almost 2023 far. You know, these are reactions from Nigerians. And you can see we're not very happy. This is from Adjustifier. I know even get school ID card again. Talkers of international passport. 2 minutes passport self, I know get. From at Emma Kimono, the way the energy went from I can't die for Nigeria to we must reform our Nigeria, back to Canada, here I come. It is finished. Hashtag Nigerians will prevail. I mean, I sure do hope so, and I am hoping for Nigeria. This is Tiwa Savage. She calls on Beyonce. Now, this is where it gets very interesting because if you can remember from DJ Switch's IG Live during the Lekki Tollgate shootings, we had Tiwa Savage in the comments where she mentioned, please call Diddy, somebody call Diddy. Now this is Tiwa Savage again calling out on Beyonce and her team. I'm going to show you a video of what exactly she said. Here it is.
I want to use my platform right now to call Beyonce and the whole team that reached out to a lot of Nigerians, Nigerian artists, Nigerian producers, Nigerian video directors, dancers, creatives. I'm calling on Beyonce.
Now, this is where the story gets very interesting because after Tiwa did call on Beyonce and her team, she had a reply from Beyonce's mom, Tina Lawson. Let's take a look at her reaction. She said a lot, but she basically just said, she explained how Tiwa Savage could have and should have just contacted Beyonce's team directly, seeing as they have already had a working relationship instead of making a public video. If you can recall, Tiwa was on Black is King album. She was there and she does have direct contact with Beyonce. Beyonce's mom didn't pull any punches, of course. She said her mind. She also mentioned that Beyonce is not a political leader. She will not bow down to anyone's political orders, that she's an artist and she will continue to do what artists do. There's a tweet here from Jeff636. He says, Tiwa de Mado, Shena Beyonce, they loot your money for Nigeria. Another reaction here, Funke Gifty's daughter, she didn't need to call Beyonce for any DAMN thing. Now, over Sabi housewife, they add sugar to soup, make it sweet. I need a translation for that. This is Toasting Silver Dam. No international artist will ever work with Tiwa Savage again. I mean, you never know. I mean, talent speaks for itself. And of course, after Tiwa Savage saw Beyonce's mom's reaction, she replied, we all have mothers, oh, meaning that is probably a warning, definitely.